Right. The Vagina Monologues. I bet you are worried.
We were worried.
We were worried about vaginas.
We were worried what we think about vaginas, but even more worried that we don't think about them. We were worried about our own vaginas. They needed a context of other vaginas, a community, culture of vaginas. There's so much darkness and secrecy surrounding them. It's a bit like the Bermuda Triangle. Nobody reports back from there.
In the first place, it's not even so easy to find your vagina. Women go weeks, months, sometimes years without looking at it. A high-powered businesswoman was interviewed and she said she was too busy, she didn't have the time. Looking at your vagina, she said, it's a full day's work. You have to get down there, on your back, in front of a mirror, that's standing on its own, full length preferred. You have to find the perfect position with the perfect light, which is somehow shadowed by the mirror and the angle you're at. You get all twisted up, you're arching your head up, killing your back. Oh, you're exhausted by then. She said she was too busy. She didn't have the time.
So, there were vagina interviews, which became Vagina Monologues. Over 200 women were interviewed. Married women, single women, older women, younger women, lesbians, bearded women.
Rise like a phoenix.
Shh. Actors, corporate professionals, sex workers, African American women, Asian American women, Hispanic women, Native American women, Caucasian women, Jewish women. Okay? At first, some were reluctant to talk. They were a little bit shy. But once they got going, you couldn't stop them. Women secretly love to talk about their vaginas. They get so excited. Mainly because nobody's ever asked before.
Right, let's just start with the word vagina. It sounds like best an infection, possibly a medical instrument. Hurry, nurse, bring me the vagina. 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 It doesn't matter how many times you say it. It never sounds like a word that you actually want to say. It's a completely ridiculous, totally unsexy word. And if you use it during sex, darling, will you stroke my vagina? Kill the act right there.
Yeah. We were worried about vaginas, what we call them and what we don't call them.
In Great Neck, New York, they call it a pussy cut. One woman there said her mother used to tell her, "Don't wear your panties underneath your pajamas, dear. You need to air out your pussycat."
In Westchester, they call it a pookie.
In New Jersey, a twat.
There's poopy, pee-pee, poopaloo, punani, a pal, and a bish.
A toady, didi, nishi, dignity, monkey box.
Coochie snorcher, cooter, labby.
Ah, Gladys Siegelman.
Va, wee wee, horse thought, nappy, dugout.
Mongo, mookie, pajama, famboo, marshmallow.
Yeah. Gooey. Possible tatita. Tamale. Connie? What?
A Mimi in Miami.
A split niche in Philadelphia.
A schmende in the Bronx.
Well, I call it une foufoune. A doodah, a vajayjay, a dookie,
A front bottom.
a fanny,
A vagina. A fish flap.
a
Genie. A toodle woodle.
No one said snatch.
tushy.
It's the leaf around the flower. It's the lawn around the house. You have to love hair in order to love the vagina. You can't pick the parts you want. And anyway, my husband, he never stopped screwing around. The vaginal moan. Oh.
And combat boots.
Purple feathers, twigs and shells.
Cotton. Pinafore.
A bikini. A mac. If your vagina could talk, what would it say? 2 words. Slow down.
Is that you?
Feed me. I won't.
Yum, yum.
Oh, yeah.
Start again.
No, over there.
Lick me.
Stay home.
Oh, brave choice. Think again.
More, please.
Embrace me. Let's play.
Don't stop.
More.
Remember me. Come inside. Not yet.
Whoa, Mama. Yes. Yes. Rock me.
Enter at your own risk.
Oh, God. Thank God.
I'm here.
Let's go.
Find me.
Thank you.
Bonjour. Too hard. Oh, don't give up. Where's Brian?
Back to there.
Yes, there. The combo clit vaginal moan. Oh.
I can't talk to you about this. I can't talk to you about down there. You just know it's there, like the cellar. I mean, there's rumbles down there sometimes. You can hear the pipes. Things get stuck, little animals and stuff, and it gets wet. And people have to come up to plug up the leaks. Otherwise, the door stays closed. You forget about it.
Vagina is a shell. A round, pink, tender shell. Opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip. The centre, acute and deep. The scent, delicate. The petals, gentle but sturdy. I did not always know this, no. I learned this in a vagina workshop. I learned this from the woman who runs the vagina workshop, a woman who believes in vaginas, who really sees vaginas and helps other women see their own vaginas by looking at other women's vaginas. To stay, and then the quivering, it became a quake, an eruption, the layers dividing and subdividing, and the quaking, it broke into an ancient horizon of light and silence, which became a plane of music and colours and innocence and longing, and I felt connection, calling connection as I lay there, thrashing about on my little blue mat. My vagina.
It is twice the number in the penis. Who needs a handgun when you've got a semi-automatic?
They're right on it, Moan. Oh, yeah!
He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. "You're so beautiful," he said. "You're elegant and deep and innocent and wild." "You saw that? There," I said. It was as if he'd read my palm. "I saw that," he said. "And more. Much, much more." He stayed looking for almost an hour, as though he was studying a map, observing the moon, gazing into my eyes. But it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him as he looked at me, and he looked so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric, that I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell. I began to feel proud. I began to love my vagina. And Bob lost himself in there. And I was there with him, in my vagina. And we were gone.
There's the elegant moon.
Why the scary paper dress that scratches your tits and crunches when you lie down so you feel like a wad of paper somebody threw away? Why the rubber gloves? Why the torchlight all up there like Nancy Drew working against gravity? Why the nasty steel stirrups and the mean cold duck lips they shove inside you? What's that? My vagina's angry about those visits. It gets defensive weeks in advance. It won't go out of the house. And then you get there. Don't you just hate that? Scoot down and relax your vagina. Why? So you can shove cold mean duck lips inside it? I don't think so.
There's the Lulu moon. Yeah!
Vagina home songs.
Not since the soldiers put a long, thick rifle inside me. It's cold. Steel rod cancelling my heart. I don't know whether they're going to fire it or shove it through my spinning brain. 6 of them. Monstrous doctors in black masks. Shoving bottles at me too. There were sticks and the end of a broom.
My vagina, swimming river water. Oh, clean, spilling water over sun-baked stones. Over stone clit stones. Over and over.
Not since I heard the skin tear. It lemon screeching sounds. Not since a piece of my vagina came off in my hand. A part of the lip. Now one whole part of the lip is completely gone.
My vagina, a live, wet water village. My vagina, my hometown.
They invaded it. They butchered it and burned it down.
I do not touch now.
I do not visit.
I live someplace else now.
I don't know where that is.
Me at everything. I'm out of breath and I'm trying to sound normal on the phone and she says, "What you doing, girl? Have you been running?" And I say, "No, Mama, exercising." And then she says to the lady, "You make sure she's not around any boys." And the pretty lady says, "You trust me, there ain't no boys around here." Afterwards, the pretty lady shows me everything about my coochie snatcher. She makes me play with myself in front of her. She shows me every way to give myself pleasure. She is very thorough. She says, "You make sure you know how to give yourself pleasure so you don't ever need to rely on a man." Afterwards, I'm worried that I've become a lesbo because I am so in love with her. She just laughs. I never see her again though. I realised later that she was my surprising, unexpected and politically incorrect salvation. She transformed my sorry-ass coochie snatcher and she raised it into a kind of heaven.
Can you say it? Can't? Can't? I'm not going to stop. Come on. Can't.
A 6-year-old girl was asked, if a vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
Red trainers and a baseball cap worn backwards.
If it could speak, what would it say?
It would use words that began with V and T. Violins and turtle are examples.
What does your vagina remind you of?
A soft dark peach or a diamond from treasure that I found and it's all mine.
What's special about your vagina?
That somewhere deep inside it has a really, really smart brain.
And what does it smell like?
Snowflakes.
There's the Irish Catholic one. Oh, jeez, me and Joseph.
I was there when our vagina changed from a shy sexual hole to an archaeological tunnel, a sacred vessel, a Venetian canal, a deep well with a tiny stuck child waiting to be rescued.
There's the Inverness moan. Oh, Rena!
Until women rise in the knowledge of their own value and rights. Outside courthouses, police stations, government offices, workplaces, military courts, embassies, places of worship, homes. Until we release our shame, guilt, grief, pain, humiliation and rage. Until apologies and reparations are made by governments, leaders, husbands, boyfriends, brothers, fathers, priests, mullahs, ministers, uncles, bosses, corporate heads. Until we refuse to accept anything that does not include all.
1 billion will rise for justice.
And finally, there's the surprise triple orgasm moan. Oh,